live in the Matrix. The Matrix, I know people have heard that term before. People have probably seen the movie before. And I'm sure most people are familiar with Matrix, the movie. But I want to get away from the movie, because everyone thinks, when they think about the Matrix, that the movie comes to mind. The Matrix, the reason why people use the term the Matrix, we are living in the Matrix, is because the Matrix is the closest thing that we can assimilate when comparing what we mean or what is said about reality. So in the movie The Matrix, you're living in a what you think is reality, but in actuality it's not. You're living in a programmed world, in a world that is created, that is not actually real. And that is what is meant when people say you're living in the Matrix. So it's not the exact same thing. It's the concept of the same thing. So the concept is what's similar, not the actual movie. So that's just, I wanted to establish that. So what do I mean by we're living in the Matrix? When we see something and we perceive it to be real or fact, but behind the scenes it was fabricated or is fabricated, that is what's meant by living in the Matrix. That is what I mean when I say living in the Matrix. That's what I understand as living in the Matrix. In the movie, there's characters that are able to distinguish the fake from the real, and the real is not at all what people think it is, not what the majority of people think it is. So the majority of people are living in this world that they think is real, but only a few, a very small minority know the truth and know that this world is fabricated, that world is fabricated. And I think that is the same thing that is going on now in our reality, or what we think is reality, what we are told is reality. If you look behind the scenes, there's always a cause and a purpose behind certain things that are portrayed to us. Okay? There are certain things that there's always a purpose and a reason for these certain things that are portrayed to us on a mass level. What do I mean by that? I mean things that are told to us via television, via the news, via broadcasting stations, via television shows, via movies, via music, via video games, you name it, via social media, via the internet. All of these things that are broadcasted, that are used to broadcast information on a mass level, whenever the flag that should be risen in your mind is whenever you see something being broadcasted on a mass level. I'm talking about on a huge level. I'm talking like world news, or speeches given by world leaders, things of that nature. When you see something that is being broadcasted on a mass level, always look at what is behind it. I always like to look at it and say, who is benefiting from this? Who is the real benefactors of this? 9 times out of 10, we have no idea what is really going on behind the scenes. We have no idea. just like any industry. And how do I know that this is true? Because everyone that has a job right now or works at any capacity or does anything at all to a certain level consistently, and there's a group of people that do it with you, such as like a job, like say you work at McDonald's. Everybody that works at McDonald's knows inside stuff that you only know by working at McDonald's. If that makes sense. Like, for example, like you may think like, oh, the fries were done, they're so fresh that we're done right now. They taste so good. They must have made the fries back there. They must have cut the potatoes back there right then and there. But what we don't know is that those fries may have been cut at a different facility and brought over frozen and then unfrozen there. That makes sense. Or another example is you may think, oh man, the sandwiches taste so good. You know, they must have made the sandwich right there, like right there at McDonald's. But what we may not know or see is that they may have, the sandwich was already pre-made and they may have just heated it up. You know, things like that. There's this behind the scenes stuff that you don't know, right? Like when I used to work at, for example, when I used to work at Aetna, which is a pharmaceutical insurance company, I used to work in the farm and the Medicare Part D and C department. So in other words, I was approving medications. I would be the person that the doctors or the pharmacies would call to get the medication approved, like controlled substances or drug that interacted with each other. They would call me or my department, and then I would basically look at certain guidelines and determine based on those guidelines if they would get approved or if the drug or the payment would go through. So what people don't see working in that industry is that in that industry, there's many times where they would prescribe a medication such as Suboxone, which is used for heroin addiction. They would prescribe that after they prescribed a narcotic. So in other words, they would prescribe, let's say you get into an accident and you break your leg, they would give you painkillers, right? Like hydrocodone, right? Or, acetaminophen, these controlled substances that are highly addictive. They would give you these medications for pain, right? Well, what happens when you give that person these medications over and over again and they have to take it over and over again? They get addicted, right? So you get addicted to, and this is, pretty commonplace, pretty obvious. You get addicted to the medication. So as soon as they prescribe that medication, they not only do they are aware that the person can get addicted, but they prescribe after they prescribe that, they would prescribe Suboxone, which is meant to wean you off of the hydrocodone, but then you get addicted to the Suboxone. And not only is it more expensive to get on the Suboxone, they know it's a guideline and it's a process that in steps that show, okay, we'll prescribe them this medication, hydrocodone, they'll get addicted, right? Then we'll prescribe another medication that's more expensive than the hydrocodone so that they can get addicted to that. So it's just a process, a step to get and earn more money, basically, right? Because what's the point of prescribing someone one thing and then prescribing someone else another thing to get them addicted? You know what I'm saying? There's no point of doing that, but other than to make more money. So there's other methods to do that, but that's a whole story in itself. Point is, what I'm saying is that there's behind the scenes things that happen from the lowest level to the highest level. And what we think is reality, or what we think is real to a certain extent, may not actually be real. So I'm saying that to say that we all have to be aware of what's going on, not directly what's going on behind the scenes, because we'll never really know, but to be aware enough to know that there's certain things that are implemented for the purposes of benefiting certain people or certain groups of people. Not to benefit you, not for your legacy and not for your betterment and your advancement as a group or a people. There's certain things that are implemented and done and said at a mass level continuously to benefit either certain people or certain groups of people. Okay, that's one thing that needs to be kept in mind. So be careful what you listen to continuously, what you allow yourself to watch, because a lot of the time these things, there's certain things that are done not for your benefit. They're done to benefit others. And most of the time, the Matrix is designed, or this fake world is designed to benefit certain people and certain groups of people. So with that being said, the message is to think about ways, if you want to be wealthy and rich and happy, fulfilled, you need to think outside of how I can break the matrix. How can I break the matrix for myself? Because real money, real wealth, real advancement and fulfillment comes from stepping outside of the matrix, figuring out a way to go out from the matrix, to do things that don't coincide with the matrix, because the matrix is just a system designed to benefit other people, certain people. It's designed to keep you down. It's designed to put you in, for you to be a peg in a system. It's designed, the system itself is designed to benefit the system, not designed to benefit you as a person, as an individual, maybe as a group of people, as a family. It's not designed for that. So your job is to figure out a way to break the matrix, for yourself. Think about it like this. Anyone who's done anything worthwhile has done it breaking the matrix. What do I mean? People, think about it. Who become rich and wealthy? Who are the ones that become rich and wealthy and financially free? People who break away from the 9-to-5 rat race, or people that invent something that was never invented before, right? The matrix is the same consistent thing that you're being told. Go to school, get a 9-to-5 job, get a good job, buy a house, get married, have kids. That's the matrix. It's not meant to benefit you. The reason why they want you to do all that is meant to benefit the system. So how do you become wealthy and live a happy life and live the life you want to live? You break the matrix. You figure out a way to go outside of that paradigm. Go outside of the norm per se, the norm. And then once you go outside the norm, you end up figuring out things that actually benefit you. Think about it like this. Why don't you think they like the government or the systems in place, or the higher ups, I guess you can call them, whatever you want to call them? Why do you think they look down or don't like for people to meet up or congregate together? Because when people congregate and meet up and get together, they become powerful. They can topple the system. This is the reason why you see people with influence, people that had major influence, maybe get killed or get demonized, get put down, because if they know if a person has too much influence, they can manipulate the system. They can break the matrix. So they like to keep everybody down, keep you down. They don't want to have too much influence. They'll give you some, and then they'll try to come over and take your influence to benefit the system, right? That's what's called selling out. But they don't like for you to have too much power as an individual or as a group. They'll come in and they'll distort the power system or the power within the group to break it down. Because when people get together, they create power. They create more energy. So That being said, I may talk more in depth about this in a future video, but I don't want to go too long. I just had this on my mind and I wanted to get it out before I forgot it. I'm definitely thinking about ways to break the system or break the matrix for myself. I've already kind of think I have an idea of how to do it. If you want to talk about this more, go ahead and subscribe to this video, like this video, share this video, reach out to me. Let's mastermind. Follow me on Instagram, the Real Estate Investor Dan. Book a one-on-one consultation with me if you want to learn how to break the system, break the matrix for you at www.realestateinvestordan.com. All right. That being said, I'll let y'all later. Peace.